Hello, Leo friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Leo October 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. So, wow, Leo, we're stepping out of the hottest eclipse month, September, now moving into a little bit more into October of some eclipse news coming in. So information changes from those powerful eclipses may still be coming in this month. We are feeling that as the month begins. We've got this crazy fire supermoon at the beginning of the month in fellow fire sign. And I'm calling the theme of this month for Leo, the hidden is revealed, and it may surprise you. So I'll show you the areas of life that may hold some secrets or hidden information that may come out at this time. This is for you if Leo is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Leo placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Leo friends, so birthdays like August 15th through the rest of the sign, or Leo degrees 23 degrees through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Virgo reports, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So I'm not going to talk too much about the eclipses because even though we are still in eclipse season, I went over them in detail in the August and September reports. You can refer back to those to get the details. But what we do need to know for October is that we are still getting information in. After all, the last eclipse was on September 21st, which is only 10 days, before October. So we know starting out the month, this is still very fresh. It's still very new. There's information, there are incidences, there are things that have gone on from these powerful eclipses in the Pisces Virgo spectrum. And you may still be reeling from these. Okay, so this is very fresh information, and more information may be incoming. If you have to make decisions based on the information coming in, one of the most important dates to know this month is October 21st. Not only is that a new moon in Libra, which we'll get back to here in a second, but also that's the day when the tides start to turn in. From August 26th until October 21st, we have, in my title analogy, the tides going out because all the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are not in a retrograde or a shadow period until the 21st, from August 26th until October 21st. So that means for this window of time, when you make a decision, you may have more clarity. If you do something, it may carry further and wider, similar to if you put something out on an outgoing tide, it goes out far and wide. October 21st, those tides change. They start coming in, and it will be slow at first, but you will feel it the more you pay attention. We'll go into about an 8-week time of the pre-shadow transit, the retrograde, and then the post-shadow transit, where things will slow down, things will get more inward and backward. We become the earthworm. We stand on the shore and wait for things to come to us instead of conjuring stuff to push out. So when you have a creative process where you want to do new things or you want to enact things that you want to be in effect for a long time, if you look out for these periods of time when the tides are going out and you align your actions with these times, then you're aligning with the natural rhythm of the universe, and you'll have less frustration, more success with what you do, an easier time trying to get the results that you want, and things are just overall flowing better because you're paying attention to that. So, just take a note of that. Good news about this fire supermoon, crazy fire supermoon in Aries at the beginning of the month, is that it is well within that time of action, and you may be froggy and ready to jump. So let's start to talk about what hidden things may be revealed. All right, because one of the big unearthers of hidden things this month is going to be this supermoon. So in the days around October 6th, we've got a full moon, supermoon in Aries. This is your fellow fire sign. This means amazing things for your Leo placements. And it's an activating force. For everybody, a full moon is something coming to fruition, something coming out that was hidden, something becoming elucidated, something being brought into the light. And you can be sure that there is going to be a very good chance that some information that is hidden or has been hidden to you or that was forgotten is going to come out. It may be a sudden insight that you figured something out. It may be a sudden way of looking at things that is your new reality. It may be something that someone was keeping secret and you found out about it. There's a lot of stuff in this quiet, murky, deep place of Scorpio. We've got the, Lilith, Juno just for a very short amount of time, Mars in Scorpio later in the month, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, all going to move into Scorpio Well, actually, Venus will get into Scorpio in November, but all the rest of these will get there. And those are all making squares to your placement. Now, this full moon makes a trine, the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. But on the topic of hidden things coming out in relationships, in money, things going on, in home and family and housing and your roots, something is coming out and it's going to be revealed, and it may surprise you. All right, so back to this full moon. Something about your autonomy, something about your inspiration, something about your physical body may be coming out. Now, I usually give at least 2 to 3 days before and after the moon date for you to be feeling this strongly, but when it's a super moon, the moon is closer to the earth. It looks bigger in many cases. The gravitational effects are greater in many cases, and you will very likely feel that. All right. So it's like an expanded power of the normal powers of full moon. They're amplified. And so I'd say probably right from the beginning of the month, October 1st, even through October 10th or so, you may be getting the first third of the month covered in this full moon. Now, the Aries energy is amazing for action, so you may realize something you have to take action on. And it's joining these longer term transits. Ceres is not as long term as the other ones, but Saturn just recently popped back into Pisces, still close enough to be influencing in Aries. Neptune is there, Eris is there, Chiron is there. All of this is great for Leo because these are long-term transits, except Ceres, that's a little shorter, that are making this most favorable aspect in all of astrology. So you've got all these storylines that are building for Leo, of your spiritual path, of your healing your wounds, of clearing resentments, of building things that will last, that are stable and secure. And then now we've got the full moon coming in that's bringing in additional information. And all of this is happening for Leo in your 9th house of education, of publishing, of teaching, of learning, of traveling, of different countries, different cultures. Also international business. So all of those things are getting a long-term support, but this full moon may reveal something. Maybe there was a glitch in your paperwork for immigration and that information comes out and now you know how to reapply or something. Maybe there's something that was going on in school or with a book that you've written or you'd like to write. Hidden things can come out from this, or the fact that you've had these things undercover and you're ready to birth them, maybe what's happening. So this is a very amazing birthing point for bringing things out into the world. We're clear from the personal planet retrogrades in the days around the full moon. And, this may be the time you bring your life project out or you make a huge decision. It's really great for weddings, for engagements, for contracts, until the 21st. So big purchases, big sales, things like that are all really well supported this month. If you have to negotiate something, and I'm bringing you back to housing, this housing pressure has been building, and you may have information of diving into a deep relationship with someone financially as it relates to your house. Maybe you're coming up with an alternative arrangement for making a purchase, a lease to own, something like that. Maybe you are having something go on within your relationships, or maybe a family secret comes out. So just be on the lookout for these hidden things to be revealed that will be very surprising. And you may be engaging in a lot of conversations with people in a close-knit group about very, very deep, profound concepts and very, very important financial matters, inheritances, things like that, wills, kind of like those, the things that are more hidden. You may find something out about your inheritance or your wills or something like that. That may be the thing that's revealed. So all of this is happening. All of this is building. All of this is very strong. And it's going to bring a lot of intensity into your home and family. And it's going to bring a lot of opportunity into your place in the world in a very wide sense. Okay, now in the days around October 21st, not only are we starting to get into the Mercury retrograde cycle, but we also have a new moon in Libra, which joins Mercury and the Sun and Virgo in Libra to bring a lot of focus onto your connections with other people. You may find this is a very busy social time. You may find this is a very busy time of connecting with other people in very fulfilling ways. And you may find that you're writing or speaking, or a lot of your relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles, there may be a lot of activity or discussions in those in those relationships. You may get a new device. You may, get a new car. That is your house of mobility. That is your house of communication. And it is beautifully highlighted. And this new moon in the days around the 21st have extra seed planting qualities, where if you don't have the things that you want and you're not in a position to make those new purchases happen, that you may actually be able to plant the seeds at this time that can harvest over the next 13 months, a 13-month moon cycle or 13 moon cycle. That can come from that. If you want to develop relationships with your relatives more, if you, I'm coming back to writing a book, because the third house is very much a writing house. The ninth house is a publishing house, and you have both of these going on. Also, the ninth house has to do with education. So you may be looking for and finding a perfect course for you, or you may be making your debut as a teacher or going deeper into that work, like opening your own school or something like that. Now, something that will be happening this month, but is also ongoing and can very much have to do with hidden secrets becoming revealed, has to do with Jupiter transiting your 12th house. It's getting ready to go into Leo next summer or winter for you all, Dananda. But for now, from June of 2025 until almost July of 2026, we've got Jupiter in Cancer, enhancing home and family, working on resolving those home and family issues. The Scorpio placements in the short term are working deeper on that. But what it's doing specifically for Leo has to do with your 12th house. This is the growing intuition. This is your psychic self awakening. This is your clearing out of your ancestral garbage. This is you facing your fears and addictions and healing them. This is you becoming fully empowered from your inner work. And some of the things that may be revealed to you through meditation, through past life regression, through hypnosis, those are very, very, very good things to do during a time when Jupiter is helping you to go deeper into those worlds. You may have contact from a loved one who's passed by. If you're interested in those things, you might get deeper into stories about people who have died and come back. The other worlds are very much enhanced at this time, and the eclipses really brought that up as well. So this is just an extra layer that Leo has on top of this. Your need to have a quiet space and not be interacting with a bunch of people all the time may also be activated. But in the, throughout the month, you're still going to have all of these opportunities to connect with other people that could be very beneficial. And in the long term, you have Uranus recently in Gemini, great aspect for Leo. It's going to be there for a while, enhancing your networking and teams and groups and community projects. So at the same time as you're needing more quiet time and time to yourself, the demands outside of you from a social perspective are definitely increasing. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for you to try to navigate through keeping true to yourself in your quiet space and not being as frazzled and whacked out from everybody else's energy, while still showing up for the opportunities and the commitments that you're making. Because there will be a lot of opportunities and they can come out of the blue. Uranus is going to make sure of that. And it does have to do with very social Gemini and information coming in and out. And it does have to do with very team and group oriented Uranus, which is the ruler of the 11th house that it's moving through for Leo. Okay, so I alluded to before possibly some of the hidden things becoming revealed that may surprise you in your relationship space. It could be in your family space, spousal space, could be in your exes, in something having to do with an ex. And this, a very strong series of personal planets moving through Scorpio is facilitating this. That's in the short term. But in the longer term, there is this fated relationships coming in for Leo. People who come to you and you know that they are supposed to be there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Fated relationships in the world of Leo is going to be a very big thing over decades. And then as soon as it leaves that 7th house for you, it's going to go in the 8th house. So this is just going to be a thing that Leo has to be aware of, that, you will really feel connections with people like, wow, this is really meant to happen. Or if you believe in other lives, you may feel like you know them from before. But Pluto is also an elucidator. It's an unearther. It's a planet that rules mining and bringing things up from under the earth. So you may notice that in the relationship space or about people some things are coming out that again may surprise you. Now, Pallas Athena is also moving through your seventh house. So if you have any trouble with, from these things that come out, or just anything that you need to do within your relationship space, Pallas Athena is helping you strategize. This is a huge time for strategy as it relates to leveraging relationships and as it relates to having more fulfillment in your relationships. Okay, so a couple of other points to note. We have about 16 salty aspects, including 5 oppositions. And so there are going to be times this month when tensions are running high, not just as a carryover from eclipse season, but from these oppositions dotted throughout the month. Those oppositions are definitely asking you to find a middle ground rather than swinging between the extremes. But sometimes you have to swing around a little bit before you can find that balance. The oppositions can also be an instigator to find a middle ground, just not only between things within yourself, but between other people. And it can bring mirrors, like people or situations that are reflecting aspects of yourself that you're not fully embracing or understanding. And so navigating these moments has to do with integrating and not avoiding. So if you find that you've been avoiding something, there may be an integration process, and you may need professional support with that integration process, because Leos tend to be very robust in their energy and ready to do things on their own. But with all of this, social energy and all of this relationship energy, there are people that want to help you. And, in many cases, they're literally a text or a phone call away. So, your bigger strengths may come from merging with other people at this time. But there may be cases where you have to claim some autonomy and independence as well. Now, let's see. So there are those salty aspects dotted throughout the month, but we do have 2 waves of sweet aspects, October 8th through 14th. And then again, from October 24th through the 30th, we've got the vast majority of our sweet aspects are concentrated in those periods of time. So things can definitely be smoother. There can be more harmony. There could be more obvious blessings that come in, and if you're trying to get things done, you may notice that there's more sweetness during that time. If you love how I teach and you want to learn, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my very comprehensive astrology education system, where you can learn how to adeptly read charts and help someone every time you look at their chart and know what to narrow in on, and either do that just to help your family and friends and yourself, or to earn money. You'll be very surprised when people learn that you have this skill, that they will be wanting you to do readings. And it's a very highly monetizable learning opportunity. And if you like to help people, then earning money through helping people, this is definitely an amazing way to do it. beastropro.com. That's my astrology mastery course, beastropro.com. If you want to see what the outer planets, changing signs, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, Pluto, we don't always talk about those a ton. I try to include them, but if you want to see dates and specific things about these outer planets going through your personal chart, go to Annie B. Clarity, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. If you want more sweet and salty dates, you want to know what those nice aspects are in the days between October 8th and 14th and October 24th through 30th, with my favorite things for launch dates, etc., and my other things to be awareful and careful of, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Join my free VIP community. I will not spam you. I will not sell your email address to people, and you will not suddenly find yourself on someone else's email address from being on mine. Those are all things I do not like, so I will not do that to you. I send out a weekly newsletter and an occasional promotion, and that's it. All full of content that I've created to help you make the most of whatever's going on in the stars. So just go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in there, join my free VIP community, get all of my content early through that email list, and get lots of other goodies. Eclipse resource page, retrograde resource page, zodiac health tips, my 28-day virtual coaching program, and those sweet and salty dates. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.